99.3 Nigeria Info Lagos. A very lovely evening to you. It's 7 minutes inside the hour. Yes, we had to bring you the news at the top of the hour and also bring you some messages. And yes, we are here finally. I'm Sheriff Quadry. It's a global review here on Nigeria Info 99.3's Hard Facts. And you're most welcome to join the conversation. And let me have you know that we've got a program solely dedicated to geopolitical conversations every week. It's called Borderlines with Reti Bakari from 4 p.m. to 6 p.m. every Friday. And if you're used to that program, you understand that it's a program that you can't miss. Apart from, bringing up the biggest conversations around the world, you also get to be educated. You get to learn, relearn, unlearn some things that you thought you knew. That program is what does it for you. So you don't want to miss it at all from 4 p.m. to 6 p.m. Every Friday. You can also listen to a repeat broadcast on Sunday, 8 a.m. Okay. All right. Now, let's get on. Today, we are looking at genocide in Gaza. It's been going on. I'm not going to bore you with a couple of intro that I've got already. I'm just going to introduce my guest, who is a seasoned analyst when it comes to geopolitics. He joins from Canada. Dayo Ogunseye joins us virtually. Dayo, good. It's what time now? It's morning there. Dayo, can you hear me? I'm guessing Dayo cannot hear me. I don't know why Dayo can't hear me. Please, let's fix this and make sure that Dayo can hear me. Let's fix this very quickly. Dayo, can you hear me now?
Yes, I can hear you.
Oh, fantastic. Yes, I can hear you. I can hear you. Thank you for joining. Appreciate your time.
Okay. How are you today? What do we call today now? Happy June 12th?
Happy Democracy Day.
Democracy Day.
Yes.
Okay.
I was asking earlier what time it is there over there right now.
It's 10 minutes after 11. We are 7 hours behind.
Okay.
Yes.
Great. Going by the topic of this conversation, genocide in Gaza, I want to take it up from here. I'd like to ask whether what you believe about genocide, whether in actual fact the term genocide accurately or inaccurately is being used to describe the situation in Gaza under international law. Break that down for Lagos first and foremost before we delve into the conversation proper.
Well, let me just thanks for having me. There's genocide in Gaza, but I'll break it down now. But what is genocide? Genocide is the deliberate act of cleansing people from a particular area. Now, Amnesty International, which is about the most renowned human rights organization, has a 100-page report documenting this, saying it is genocide. Then there's also forensic architecture. They also have an 800-page report documenting cartography of genocide, saying there's a genocide. There are 250 human rights agencies, including about 2 in Nigeria, that have said this is genocide. So it's no longer an issue whether it is genocide or not. What's happening in Gaza? The issue is when it's going to stop.
I mean, that takes me to another, similar area of our conversation today, because, I mean, what you said is quite important, because I'm thinking, what precedent is being set right now if genocide is ongoing, and the world keeps downplaying what is happening in Gaza right now? What do you think the repercussion could be in the nearest future?
It's actually very scary, very, very scary, in the sense that if you remember in the days of the apartheid in South Africa, at least we did not have we did not have social media. We didn't have there was no X, there was no Facebook. But when this is happening real time, and we can see, and yet we are unable to stop it is really, really worrisome. There have been series of genocides in the past. Series. In fact, I have a list here of genocides committed by the United States, that kind of a thing. There have been series of genocides in Nigeria, the Cuba massacre, the movement of blacks from Africa to America, the movement of when British and French, when they came into North America and they killed the natives. There's a lot of big, but then we didn't have this much information. Do you understand? The what do you call the genocide of Adolf Hitler of the Jews, So but it's really, really worrisome that at this time we are unable to stop it. And
why has it been why?
Okay, it's very easy and it's very, very simple. There are two reasons. One, that I can say. Okay, let me say three. The first one is the United States. I'll come to the United States is a major party in this. Since October 7th, 2023, when this happened, there have been 5 resolutions at the United Nations to stop the killing, to have the hostages released, to have Palestine declared as a state. The United States has vetoed all of them and stopped all of them. As you know, the United States is a member of the UN Security Council, one of the 5 permanent members. If one of them vetoes, nothing moves. That's one. The second one is that Israel, the Jews suffered a lot the 20th century. There was a lot of anti-Semitism in Europe,
and the Jews were persecuted in Europe. Yes,
and the Jews, and that was why Theodore Herzl in 1897 said there was going to be a conference where the Jews started the Zionism thing, and they wanted a homeland for themselves. This led us to Balfour Accord in 1917 till they got a state in Mediterranean in 1948. Now, the Jews themselves, they've also weaponized the Holocaust. And we have to say that weaponized the Holocaust. They are one nation, and they are one that people don't want to do anything about. If they speak anything, nobody wants to point for that. That's the second one. The third one also is that themselves have not made things easy. Kill sense is evil, anyhow you want to look at it. So this is, but the major reason why this has not been, we have been able to stop this is actually the United States. Just last week, there was a resolution passed at the there was a motion to pass a resolution at the UN. 14 of the permanent members supported it. Three points. One, release the remaining, there are 53 hostages remaining, release the second, stop the killing. Then the third one, have Palestine declared as a state. 14 of the 15 states supported it. Only the United States vetoed it. And for that, we are just where we are.
What? Before we can move on. By the way, I need to ask this question because I've seen these questions appear on many platforms as well. And Dayo, I'd love for you to weigh in. And this is very important. Why has it been impossible for Arab governments to take stronger position beyond just rhetoric of we support the Palestinian cause, we support? Why has it been impossible for them? Why have they failed? Arab governments in the Middle East to show strong support, strong movement beyond just rhetorics.
You are talking about Nigerian governments?
No, Arab governments.
Oh, the Arab government.
Yes.
Okay. Now this is it. The state of Israel. It's okay. Let me give you a bit of. I'll try to go a little bit into history now. When the State of Israel was created in 1948, May 1948, On that same day, 5 Arab nations, Syria, Yemen, Egypt, Lebanon, and one other one I can't remember now, Jordan, they went to war that same day with Israel because it was the British. The British had they had defeated the Ottoman Empire and they had the mandate for that region. So, but the Arabs were also becoming nationalistic, and so they didn't want a situation whereby you had Jews that were just moving there. The Jews were just a very, very few number compared to that population. Now, when the Arabs went to war, but because with the support of the British, Israel defeated the Arabs. This caused about 750,000 Palestinians to flee their homes. There were about 1.3 million Palestinians living in that region at that time. So after that, there have been a series of crises. The Suez Canal of 1956, there was the Six-Day War of 1967, like that. The major reason why the Arab nations have not been able to get this done is two. The first one is the Arab nations are predominantly Muslims. In that region, you have the Shia and you have the Sunnis. Sunnis, you have them around Egypt, in Lebanon, you have Sunni in Saudi Arabia. You have the Hamas is also Sunni. Then you have Shia. Shia is you have them in Iran. You have them in Lebanon. They don't really go together. While they are both Muslims, their approach to issues are different. The second part of it is that the West and the United States have this approach of divide and rule. The country that has received the most aid from the United States ever is Israel.
Okay.
Since 1948, they've received about $350 billion. The second country that has received the most is Egypt, $190 billion, plus I think another $7 billion debt forgiveness in 1990. So to get the other Arab nations not to oppose Israel, the United States somehow, in quotes, bribed them. You know, if you remember, a few years ago, we had the issue of Jamal Khashoggi.
Khashoggi, yes.
Khashoggi,
the Saudi Arabian journalist, yes.
Now, Saudi Arabia.
Yeah.
That is what the Arab nations enjoy. They enjoy that kind of that kind of immunity.
That kind of cover.
Do you understand? They get that kind of cover. So that is what the United States does. Whatever they do, they don't really get to pick them, that kind of, except those countries that are stubborn and don't want to comply, like Iran, or in the past, Yemen. Yemen also suffered a lot until recently. Now that we have, even till now, they are still suffering, and Syria. So that's what's actually been happening in that area.
Dayo, please hold your thoughts. I will take one or two calls before we proceed, because I'd like to ask you about October 7. And the reason we're going back to October 7 is anywhere you hear this conversation, coming up and people are talking, then you hear somebody say, why did they go and attack them on October 7? Why did they go and do this? Why did they go and do that? I'd like to get your thoughts on that, but let me just take one or two calls before we proceed. 0201-277-0993. The female line is currently down right now, so we will not be making use of the female telephone line right now because it's currently down. It's out of service. So you can call the male line if you got one or two. And to add to it, I'd also like for you to explain to my listener about the dimension of this genocide. Quite a number of Nigerians believe it's about this genocide is about the Christians killing off the Muslims and all of that, and we've tried as much as possible, via the program Borderlines to explain all of these dimensions. But let me take one or two calls. Please do not call the WhatsApp number. Please do not call the WhatsApp number. Just call the telephone line straight up, okay? Not the WhatsApp number. Let's see who is here. Good evening to you.
Hello?
Yes, good evening to you.
Good evening, Mr. Quadry.
Yes, please.
Good evening to your guest.
Please go on.
My name is Dayo from Ikoyi.
Welcome.
Well, yes, in the first place, Hamas attacking Israel was a very bad event. But what has been happening after that is totally genocide. And I think the UN, the US, I don't know what Donald Trump is doing. This should have stopped. Is almost about to wipe out a nation, which is not right.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you, Aditya. Thank you for calling me. Appreciate it. I've got less than 2 minutes left, so if I should come to you right now, Dayo, you will not be able to land before we head out for a quick break. But so let me just take the second call. Good evening to you.
Good evening, Sherry.
Yes, please.
It's Emmanuel. I'm speaking to you from
Welcome, Emmanuel.
Yeah, I think the October 7, if I'm not mistaken, is not the beginning of the story. So there is what happened before we get to October 7. That is one. Number two, for people calling it war, I don't believe it's war. It's killing of Palestinians in Gaza. Because if you are talking about war, you are talking about equivalent
equal powers.
Yeah, equal powers. The Palestinians don't have tanks. They don't have a defense system. They don't have other things that the Israeli governments have, for using against them. I think at this point in the world should rise up, because it is Palestinians today, it can be another country tomorrow. These people who gave the land, Palestinians, to the Israeli, to the Jewish people then, they have land, in the
Thank you,
USA.
thank you, Mano. Thank you, Mano. Let's go to break now, Lagos. We'll be back.
More talk, news, and sports after this.
This is Nigeria, where every new day brings a fresh chance to dream bigger, push harder, and live confidently. But true confidence is more than hope. It's knowing that no matter where you are, no matter who you are, you're protected, empowered, and ready for the journey ahead. At Sanlam Alliance, we believe confidence isn't just for a few, it's the right of everyone. That's why we have come together, uniting the strength of a Pan-African giant and a global leader to give you the financial protection and solutions you need to succeed. Because when we come together, we protect more, we achieve more, and we all rise together. Sanlam and Alliance is now Sanlam Alliance. Sanlam Alliance. Live with confidence.
Help build strong bones with Vitabiotics Osteocare from the UK. The supplement that's not just calcium, but also contains scientific cofactors better absorption into the bones. Nourish your bones, teeth, and muscles with Osteocare. In Nigeria, we need calcium for our children through adult life and especially for our seniors to help prevent stunted growth, broken bones, and osteoporosis. Osteocare scientific formula, not just calcium for strong bones from Vitabiotics UK, available in pharmacies around you.
Is that Alfie playing football in the rain?
It's Toby Chio.
My goodness.
Why
when did he grow up? That's it with kids, so.
It's amazing how your child grows up before your eyes. Enable their thriving development with the new NanKid 4 with HMOs to support your child's development, probiotics, and high-quality proteins to support age-appropriate growth. NanKid 4. Nourish your child's potential.
Start your children's day with a great taste of Ovaltine, enriched with multi-nourishment, calcium, malt, and vitamin B12 to support learning and playtime. Ovaltine, smart choice for smart kids.
Now so I did on my own. Now a message enter my phone. Fiam. I can't click Fiam. Now so my money for account go. Fiam. Hey. If to say na Airtel you they use, them for first alert you before you click Airtel they identify spammers. Then alert them customers with AI powered service to make sure say you know for Mugu for Wuruwuru scam messages. No charges, no subscription needed. Me self they go join Airtel. Fiam.
Airtel, a reason to imagine.
Every day is about winning with one play on Nigeria Info. On Nigeria Info, daily winnings is now over 150,000 naira. Just go to oneplay.ng or dial *347 *880 *3 hash. Play with as little as 500 naira, and in a few seconds, your ticket is in the draw. The more you play, the better your chances of winning every day on the Morning Crossfire, WhatsApp Lagos, and Game On shows on weekdays, and the Football Frenzy shows on weekends. But that's not all. Every Friday, there will be a 500,000 naira jackpot. Playing during the week automatically qualifies you for the weekly jackpot. Your chances of winning are the same whether you play on oneplay.ng or dial *347 *880 *3 hash. Remember to play responsibly. Not suitable for persons under the age of 18. OnePlay is a registered trademark under Lasho Trading Services Limited, licensed by the Lagos State Lotteries and Gaming Commission.
Success is like a big mansion. You only see the magnificent edifice, not the strong foundation. Likewise, in the world of ease, you only see transactions done and funds remitted. But who pioneered these financial technology solutions? Well, you knew it as Value Card, now Unified Payments, Nigeria's premier financial technology service provider. Yes, it starts here. Find out more at www.up-ng.com.
Unified Payments, unifying businesses for people.
Welcome back to your #1 talk, news, and sports station. This is Nigeria Info.
Nigeria Info.
Welcome back, Lagos, to Global Review here on Hard Facts, 99.3 Nigeria Info. Dayo Ogunseye joins me from Canada today. Dayo, thank you again for joining. Let me take a few comments here, and I want to take these comments so as to bring more education to our people. Dayo, please give me a moment to take this message, and please take a listen. His name is Jaja. Jaja says, I'm glad your guest defined genocide using the word intentional. That exactly defines the Holocaust, where the Jews did nothing to the Nazis to warrant the genocide, but the conflict in Gaza is nowhere near intentional. Did your guest forget how Palestinians massacred innocent Israelis on October 7th? If Palestinians didn't kill Israelis on October 7th, would there be this conflict going on right now? The bottom line is that there is no genocide in Gaza. Terrorists are being brought to justice, and that's what's going on in Gaza. Dayo.
Okay. October 7th is not justified in any way. What happened on October 7th is totally reprehensible. It is, we all agree that's bad. So we put that aside. I'll give you a few instances why this is genocide. January last year, there's a little girl called, and your guys can fact check this, Inda Rajab, 5 years old. She was traveling in a car with her aunt, her uncle, and 4 of her cousins. The IDF, we know they are very, if they want, they know how to, if they want to find their target, they know how to get their target. We know that from the time of Golda Meir in 1972. We know that very well. We know that also with Hezbollah, how they targeted them. So this happened January last year. They were traveling in a car. The IDF shot the car 335 times. 335 times. The 4 cousins died. The uncle and aunt died. The 5-year-old survived. And she called for help. When she called for help, they were going to send 2 paramedics to go there, to go and help her. The 2 paramedics got consent of the IDF.
To go.
And they went. And the IDF shot the 2 paramedics and killed the little girl. That's one. Number 2, there's your guys can actually check on YouTube even as we are talking. There was an 80-year-old woman who was waving a white flag holding a little child. No, not an 80-year-old woman, sorry, a grandmother that was waving a white flag holding a little child. An IDF soldier shot at a sniper, shot her. That's another one. There was an 80-year-old man that was being taken about used as human shield. The idea was taking him from house to house, trying to see if there was a mass there. So if there was going to be any shooting, they will kill the man first. They took this man around for about 12 hours, 80-year-old man. His wife was kept in his house. When they released the man went back home. This 80-year-old man went back home and was running away. Another battalion shot him and shot the wife. There are hundreds and hundreds of instances of this. Earlier this year, we heard of the paramedics that nobody knew where they were until they dug them up and they found them, about 50 paramedics, and they found them and their ambulances buried. That's one side. If you also look at the comments coming out of the Israeli government, Bezalel Smotrich, who is the Minister of Finance, says that they should wipe out the Palestinians. That is a genocidal comment. Netanyahu, who is the Prime Minister of Israel, calls the Palestinians Amalekites. If you go into the Bible, you go to 1 Samuel 15:3, if I'm correct, go and see what happened to the Amalekites. The instruction of God through Samuel to Saul was, go there, wipe them out, including their donkeys. Don't keep anything alive. Ben Gavir, who is the National Security Minister, said these guys do not worth living. Feglin, who used to be a member of the Knesset is like their parliament, said babies should be killed because they are sucking the breast of their mothers that hate Jews. That if these babies grow up, they are going to kill children of Israelis. So this is not like we are just trying to play with words. Last week, Penn State University did a survey for one of the most reputable organizations in Israel. 82% of Israelis living in Israel want Gazans chased out of that region. 82%. 56% want Arabs, Israeli Arabs living in Israel, taken out of Israel. That is the definition of genocide. The UN rapporteur, what's her name now? Francine Albanese. She's been on this for a long time. We are not trying to judge. It's not about whataboutism. We are not trying to say what Hamas did on October 7th was okay. But the issue is that a lot of people don't know the history of this thing. History didn't start on October 7th. On October 6th, October 6th was the deadliest day for children, for Palestinian children in history until this whole mess started. October 6th was the dead. But a lot of time when we talk about this, people think that
what happened? What happened on October 6th? Why was it the deadliest day?
Okay, now Israel and Palestine is divided into two areas. There's Gaza and there's the West Bank. In the West Bank, there's no Hamas is not the ruling party. The ruling party there is Fatah. Hamas run. A lot of people don't know that Hamas is a government in Gaza. Is actually they started off in 1987 as a resistance group, but along the line they changed. They became a political party. Again, I'm not an Hamas spokesman, so let's make that clear before people think that I condemn Hamas. Now, in the West Bank, there are settlements. The West Bank is divided into three areas where you have the Palestinian Authority governs one, Israel governs another part. Then the part three is co-governance. So when there is this settler extension, there's always everybody is there's, how do I put it now? There's a lot of frustration. Do you understand? There will always be resistance. You want to take my house. David Cameron said this thing in 2010. He said Gaza is like an open air prison. Do you understand? That place, the size of Gaza is like what we call Ushoja and Solo local governments. Israel is like Lagos and Ogun State put together. So because these people, you cannot, if you are a student in Gaza, you cannot go to university in West Bank without Israel's approval because Israel maintains the registry. So there was a blockade, which what Israel had said they found, because Israel controls everything that goes in and out of Gaza, right? So Israel said Israel stopped exports out of Gaza, and Israel said they found two explosive in two trucks. So, and for a long time there was a blockade. The United Nations complained about it and stuff like that, and so there was this settler frustration, and there was an issue. I can't remember. I think it was about 35. I don't want to be quoted on that number. And there became an issue, and before you knew it, there was fracas around that area, and some children were killed and things like that. Since this year, like we said, there's no Hamas in West Bank. 50,000 Palestinians have been chased out of their homes. 200 people have been killed. Are we going to blame Hamas for that?
In the West Bank? In the West Bank, 50,000 Palestinians have been chased out of their homes.
Yes. Just last week, Netanyahu announced that they were having 22 new settlements, right? They have 1 state settlements already. So these are the issues. These things can be checked.
So in other words, Dayo, you have an Israeli government forcefully evicting Palestinians out of their ancestral lands, out of their ancestral homes, destroying their crops even, and having settlers to take over these things. But if time permits, would come to that. And so, something that you said that struck a chord is about what has been going on from time immemorial between the Israelis and the Palestinians, the massacres every now and again of Palestinians and all of that. You know, and this raises one question. What is in Gaza? Why the interest in Gaza?
Okay, let's start. I guess we are going to start a little bit from we have to go back to history. Let's go back to how this whole thing started. This thing actually started with Christian Zionist movement. There were the Christian Zionists in the 17th century, and they were like, we call the evangelicals. So there was a group called the Restorationists. They believe that Christians believe that Jesus is going to come back. There's a second coming of Jesus Christ, right? So this restorationist group believe that for Jesus to come back, that Jews have to return to the area where Jesus lived. That is the belief of the restorationists, right? So around so that was how that, but it wasn't a very, very strong movement. It was just a small sect of, this is not Christians, it was just a group of just European Christians, evangelicals. So the Jews were, like you said, the Jews were being persecuted. So around just before the turn of the 20th century, the Jews also were, like we said, were being persecuted around Europe. And they were like, okay, we should find a homeland where we could call our own. So 1909, was it 1911? There was the First World War, right? There were the Allied forces, which was being led by Britain. They were looking for, then we didn't have countries like this. We had empires. Do you understand? The Ottoman Empire was in charge of that area. And the way it was happening then was, whatever you conquer, when you fight, whatever you conquer becomes your own. Germany was the villain of the First World War as well. So Britain appealed to the Zionist movement, that's the Jewish Zionists, that if they support them, then they were going to grant them their wish to have a homeland. In fact, the initial proposition was Uganda. That was where they wanted to give to them. But the Jews were more like, because of this Christian restorationist thing that has been implanted, they were like, okay, we'd rather go to an area where where that used to be our own. So 1917, the Foreign Secretary of Britain signed a declaration called Balfour Accord, saying the Israelis. We need to separate between the Israelis and Israelites. Israelis are they are different. Israelis are actually the descendants of Judah. Israel was Jacob, who had 12 children. One of his children was Judah. So the Jews today are not entirely the entire Israelite. They're actually the tribe of Judah. So we need to. So when 1917, the Jews started moving little by little because of like the persecution that was happening in Europe. They were moving around, and there were several reasons why. Some people ask, why didn't Britain create a space for them in Europe? And there are several reasons. One, the rich Jews in Britain, they didn't really want these peasant Jews with them, so they wanted them somewhere else.
Okay.
Then there were the Rothschild family that were big, that wanted to expand, that kind of a thing, So there were like several reasons where things came together. So then we came to World War II, when Hitler persecuted 6 million, the Holocaust. So the whole world was sympathetic to the plight of the Jews. So Jews moved to They moved to Palestine. Now, at that time, do you remember I said there was a war? That war created a situation whereby Jews were also being hated because of the Jews that were also in other Arab states were also now being hated, and there was anti-Semitism. So everybody just gathered in. Don't let me say everybody. Almost a lot of the Jews gathered in, came to Palestine, where in 1948 they became a state. Now, it's not so much the way the Jewish community. I don't want it to, so that I don't sound anti-Semitic. It's not like the way the Israeli government is, because it's more of a government policy, right?
Okay.
The way they behave is that it's many of these things are still like ancient belief and ancient. Wherever we go, we have to conquer it is our own, that kind of a thing, So they believe that they have the right to that place because they call it their ancestral home. If we go back and look at it, actually, Jacob, who was Israel, lived in Hebron, which is in West Bank of today. But before that time, there were several other people that were living there, other tribes. The Canaanites were living there, the Perizzites were living there, the Jebusites were living there. They used to call them the 7 nations. The Gagashites were living there. So, in fact, the Palestinians of today are actually generations of the Jebusites. So, the challenge with Gaza is that Gaza is, how do I put it now? You have a mass there, which is different from the Palestinian Authority, like I said. Hamas started in 1987. Hamas is a resistant organization that transformed into a political party in 2005. They still have a militant arm. The challenge with the West Bank has been annexed, kind of. They don't put up a whole lot of resistance because there are Israeli settlements in that area. So Israel has the Shin Bet, there are military forces everywhere. So they can't really show a whole lot of things that happen in West Bank, they are easily quelled. But it's not like that in Gaza. Gaza is more like it's a small area, about 2 million people, like I said, Chad of Ushodi and Solo. But Israel doesn't have settlements in that area. So there's so much resistance because Israel has not been able to break them the way they've been able to break West Bank.
West Bank. Okay.
Yeah.
Dayo, thank you for simplifying that. Let me take another message very quickly. I've got quite a number of messages here that I need to run through. I have this one, and this person says, please, is Palestine a nation before 1948? This is from Chino. Dayo.
No, Palestine is not a nation pre-1940. Okay, people should we so that we don't go too far. Before the British conquered that area, it used to be with the Ottoman Empire. Before the Ottoman Empire got it, was with the Roman Empire. So Palestine wasn't a nation. There wasn't so much of nationhood pre-1945 when United Nations, was set up. So it was we had more of people just being together. Not that they weren't countries, but they weren't nations as identified by United Nations. But there was still a group of people. Even if you get to look at it, you get to see that the decolonization actually started after African countries started gaining independence after 1950, 1960. And it was because what happened with Second World War was that Hitler was conquering nations. That was the plan of Hitler, to conquer Poland, to conquer Europe and stuff like that. So with United Nations, when United Nations was formed, there was the Universal Declaration of Human Rights. There was the Bretton Woods system. A lot of things were put in place, and nations started forming. Japan left China. Britain started leaving their colonies as well. France also, to some extent, left their colonies. Germany also left their colonies. So Palestine was there was no United Nations. It was United Nations that started talking about states. Kind of. It was United Nations that started talking about states. And so they actually asked for the challenge with Palestine is that they've not been able to be recognized as a state by the United Nations Security Council. About 145 countries have recognized them, but there are 193 countries in the United Nations. Until the United Nations Security Council ratifies it and says, okay, they are a nation, then they can actually sit. They have embassies in some countries, even as of today, but they aren't a nation. Like when I mean a state, like a country.
Like they can't have a few things. For instance,
they can't have a few things.
Yeah,
Exactly.
yes.
Like right now, even now they are not like observers at the United Nations. They don't have a seat. They are not members of committees, things like that. So they are just observers.
I've got about 2 more minutes left, and I would like your submission for this last question. What can bring a lasting peace to this genocide in Gaza?
See the way it's gonna be a lasting peace. Maybe will take time because if you have killed about 57,000 people already been killed, more than 20,000 of them children. I met a doctor that said he's lost 74 members of his family. What kind of peace are you going to bring? I think the first thing we should be talking about is how they stop the genocide. You know, how then there needs to be, for me, my recommendation would be that there will be a two-state solution.
Okay.
The people of Palestine should govern themselves. Hamas itself has said it doesn't want to be part of the government. Then Israel needs to be also needs to be comfortable in their own skin. That I always tell people that before October 7th, Hamas killed 1,300 Israelis before October 7th. Israel had killed 4,000 before that time, 4,000 Palestinians before that time. So there will always be give them a chance, give the Palestinians a chance to rule themselves. No blockade. Allow them access to food, allow them access. Let the United Nations recognize them as a state. There can also be a committee of the Arab nations being set up to probably govern and seek like a kind of transition.
Okay.
You know, right now, there are beyond, aside Hamas, there are several other resistance groups there, terrorist group, whatever, and it is that happens where people are suffering, right? Because they don't have any other choice. So that's what I think. For me, I think they need to recognize as a state. The life of every Palestinian child is as important as the life of any one of us.
Right. Ogunseye, thank you so much for joining me on the show today. It's been great having you here, and thank you for your time.
Thank you.
All right.
Have a good one.
You too. Dayo joined in from Canada. And that's our show this evening. Thank you, Lagos, for being a part of it. I'm Sheriff Quadry. You can find me on Facebook, Sheriff Quadry. Twitter is Sheriff Quadry. TikTok is Sheriff Quadry. Good evening.
99.3 Nigeria Info, Wilbur.
99.3 Nigeria Info. We are more than just radio. Subscribe to our YouTube channel at Nigeria Info FM. Check us out on Facebook at Nigeria Info 99.3. Follow us on Twitter at Nigeria Info FM and on Instagram at Nigeria Info FM Lagos for live updates as it happens. 99.3 Nigeria Info. Let's talk.